Hello, our friends. Absolutely wonderful day out there, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Oh, it's a beautiful day, and I don't see any of those funny stripes in the sky.
Well, that's why I'm excited. There's no stripes yet. Doesn't mean that they're not coming.
Indeed.
And so this was a Patreon exclusive yesterday. Things that absolutely cannot be said on YouTube. This was the day before, obviously talking about the events in NYC and United Healthcare. And then also this was 3 days ago. So we had 3 Patreon exclusives in a 3-day period. And we want to invite you guys to join us over on the Patreon. Again, you could join the Patreon family for as little as $1 a month. 10% off when you pay for a year in advance. That's $10.80 for an entire year of exclusives. 90 cents a month, less than $1 menu item that's not going to really help you in any way, shape, or form.
Indeed. And they're all things that, we absolutely cannot mention on YouTube, or they take us down. So
yeah, absolutely. As they punish those that are exposing what's going on. And I actually was watching our live views go backwards this morning, as they didn't want us to hit the 4,000 mark on views on anything, as the algorithms have been programmed in a certain way. And so they were rolling us backwards as I was watching and checking, seeing the views go backwards. This is Chris Langan. Who is he? He has, they say, an IQ of 206. He's literally in the Book of Guinness Records as one of the most intelligent people on the planet. Let's just listen to what he's saying here.
Do you believe in aliens?
Well, I will say this, the intelligence community, large sectors of it believe in aliens.
Really?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. It's a big, they're constantly discussing these things. Yes. And if you look at the global elite, you wonder, well, I don't want to blame the world banksters for this. That's a conspiracy theory. Then who is pulling all those strings? Okay? Could there be another kind of entity? Aliens, demons, whatever. Could there be something that's pulling their strings that the global banksters know about, right, and they're taking orders from, but they're being totally concealed and hidden from the public? This is a viable hypothesis, and it's one that the intelligence communities don't reject.
It's funny you pose,
which is, kind of neither here nor there, because the intelligence communities themselves could be run by aliens, for all we know.
And bingo! Give that man a gold star right on the forehead.
You don't say.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, you have hints and clues all over the place. You look at Plato and his Criticus, or Critias, I should say. Plato to Critias, yes. When the gods divided mankind. This is Deuteronomy 32:8. And so where the Bible gives you something that doesn't make sense, and it says, when God divided the nations of the earth according to the sons of Israel, because that's before Israel even existed. And yet it was taken from a much older myth, which was based on fact. And so when you talk about Plato, he clearly says there was a time when the gods were directly involved in human affairs, guiding and governing the world. They were here. They ruled out in the open. And at some point in time, they left the public eye. That's really interesting, is it not? Cops across the U.S. given a UFO handbook. Yes, police chiefs across the United States issued their first official guide on unidentified aerial phenomenon, providing law enforcement officers with instructions on how to report and respond to potential encounters. Only 11 pages. It was released in June. This is a sign of the times.
So they had it nice and ready for times to come.
Now here we see what appears to be some sort of UFO UAP flying up to a rocket and then impacting and blowing up the rocket. So this was during a nuclear missile test. A UFO destroyed its nuclear missiles. Stupid humans have developed weapons that massacre the same humans. Of the many intelligent beings in the universe, mankind is the most stupid, is the caption here. Well, the reality is, again, this system is one that's imposed by those extraterrestrial beings that remain hidden. And this planet was taken over. It was under siege and taken over by what we call the Dark Matrix. The nation is under siege, so says Nick Pope. As drone sightings continue over New Jersey last night, ARO will provide a classified briefing today to the House Oversight Committee. Some of this may be genuine UFO UAP activity. Again, they changed the designation. I think it's done also to kind of basically say we're in a new time. By the way, who is Nick Pope? Well, he worked for the British government's Ministry of Defense. Yeah, so kind of like, our DOD, he's MOD. When you see this was from Star Wars Episode 5, which was, The Empire Strikes Back. Some say the best Star Wars ever. Look at this. Look at this drone, right? We're introduced to the concept of a galactic empire and rebels fighting for their freedom, and even the concepts of whole planets being destroyed, and Starkiller Base and the Death Star. All that is based on real history. This is why it resonates with us, because they know it's going to resonate with us. Again, whether we're talking George Lucas or we're talking any of those other people in Hollywood, very unholy Hollywood, whether it's against Stanley Kubrick or, all these classic E.T. and 2001 Space Odyssey. This is all, as we know, there is truth here. It is based on actual fact. Again, the cantina scene in Star Wars, I knew it blew people's minds way back in the day. There are all sorts of humanoid beings out there. In fact, we're going to be bringing you an update in the next day or two over on Patreon, again, with some channeled information that we want to share. That's just fascinating stuff. Again, Cindy has amazing abilities that are untapped in the vast majority of the public. When you look at these things, they resonate because it's in our DNA, it's in our memory banks, it's literally there, filed away in the ether. The actual events that we see dramatized in so many of these classic movies are redoings and representations of actual events. Here you go now. Is this just balloons floating by from a kid's party? This looks eerily like a drone of some sort, or perhaps, it almost looks like a little gray in a suit going flying by. This is Miami, Florida. Now, those are familiar with what they keep calling a jellyfish UFO. This is a ring camera that took this. Is this just some kid's toy being hurled in the air? Maybe, but it certainly looks eerily like what we saw on the military bases over there in the Middle East. Here you go. This is the original Jellyfish UAP, which when Cindy feels into this energy, this is as dark gets. This is truly, this is a device of Satan, and Satan being the adversary, the real adversary, which, again, the real adversary is artificial intelligence, but it's not artificial intelligence created by Homo sapiens. Again, look to the Hindu books. The Bhagavata Purana speaks openly about there being hundreds of thousands of different humanoid beings just in our galaxy. This was known thousands of years ago through the Indian scriptures, the Hindu scriptures. These things, this knowledge was what they're going after and trying to keep covered up, and they were able to in the Kali Yuga. This is beyond their ability to keep it covered up anymore. As you see more images that we talked about, this from Afghanistan. So is something similar floating by in Miami? If there is, Houston, we have a problem.
I mean, the energy on it is just really atrocious. It's something where it reports to a certain entity, and I can even see this thing on other planets that are stuck in a 3D matrix where it goes by and it collects data, and it also leaves behind a lot of the I guess the black ooze stuff.
The mork from orc, nanu.
Yes, it leaves that behind, and it brings with it a very low vibrational frequency too. So as I look at it, I can see these energies emanating from it, and it is bringing a low frequency to everything that it goes near. So it's extremely destructive. It's not something that really I would want to run into. Absolutely not.
No, again, the movie Prometheus, the black goo, everybody's talked about this. And in fact, here you have a representation of Anunnaki. Here you have a representation of AI embodied in a human, android type of body. And ultimately creating these demonic type entities using, human DNA as this, and ultimately originally using what we would call Anunnaki DNA as they drink the black goo and then transform into these demonic entities. Everything is in the movies for a reason. Again, this is totally controlled disclosure. We are in a galactic war. We've been in this galactic war all of Earth's existence. It's been ongoing for millennium. Truly, it is. We are at war with this reptilian galactic empire. And again, many people, just go on YouTube and search Lear and Draco Wars, and you'll find many channels popping up talking about this. So it is common knowledge at this point in time. And yet there are those that just will refuse to believe because it just destroys their paradigms, the paradigms they've grown up with. And, it's scary to have your whole belief system being, proven to be false. And that all this time we've been under the control of beings that are way more advanced technologically than most people can understand. As you see, a drone pilot captures a UAP UFO in Quebec. This is May 2024. We've caught dozens of these. And so some are really what we would call spirit orbs. Some are mechanical. And we've never been alone. There is so much activity going on. Right now is just about shifting the paradigm. You go to sleep, thinking about one way that the world is, and then you wake up and you realize, wow, we literally woke up in Star Wars. And this is going to be the reality as we move forward. The old belief systems won't exist once you get, I would say, past the 2029, 2030. There will be no more of what has been the dominant belief systems. They will transmute into more of a galactic type of belief system, so to speak, and adapt as people will want to hang on to their old traditions and their old ways, or again, it's just things that make us feel comfortable. But the reality is, again, this is a monumental time, and it's a really interesting time to be alive. Anything could happen at any time. It's not set in stone. There are so many different timelines right now that are in play, and truly, every single word, action, and deed from each one of us is shifting those timelines.
And keep in mind, a lot of these technologies are human, but many of them are from a place that we are not familiar with. And there are good and there are bad, just like human beings. There's good and bad personalities out there. So just keep yourself safe, file away your discernment, actually prioritize your discernment and prioritize your spiritual practice so that you know and you have that feeling when something is close to you, if it's a good entity or not so good.
Absolutely. And mind your kitty cats around the Christmas tree.
It's that time of year.
Yeah, and regardless of whether we believe in the whole concept of Christmas, there's no reason why not to celebrate, because celebrate life. This is actually a gift. It is not our normal state of being. We are consciousness, which is eternal. We are having a temporary human experience. So enjoy the ride.
Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.